Hey, many of us are having to start working from home. So I thought I'd take you through my home office setup. I've got a couple of tripods here with right up the roof with a sheet hanging over it, a white sheet this time. You can use a green screen, but a white sheet is a good idea. Just so you need a flat white surface behind you, whatever that may be, or a green surface behind you. Notice when that's down, I've also got some branding on my wall behind. So that's really the setup. I've noticed that I've also got a stand-up desk here. So the desk allows me to motor it right up, which keeps everything level on it. In terms of lighting, I've got a big soft light up here, which is a camera light. And you can get them $100 or so. They're pretty reasonable. I didn't have a light on the other side, so I ended up with a Milwaukee lithium light with, notice I've got a diffusing sheet in front of it. That can just be any sort of fabric that will diffuse the LED light. Then for sound, I have a microphone, a Yeti Blue microphone, which is good quality and allows you to really get the sound through. So the sound is really important, and just a pair of headphones. Then my laptop is here, and I've got things like Logitech Spotlight, which is remote controlled. And then I have my my main screen here with my camera on top. And notice my camera is a Logitech, and it's a 1080p camera. That's also really important because you get good quality. So I'll give you a look at some of the, that's my little home office setup. I'll give you a look at some of the imagery and some of the images I can get as a result of it. Hey, so here is my setup now. You're now seeing me from my Logitech camera, and you're hearing me from my Yeti Blue microphone that I mentioned to you. So you can hear the sound quality level from it. It's really good quality microphone. So that's really important. It connects into USB. So it's just got a USB port and just plugs into your USB. And you can see now that I've got this white background. It's pretty much a flat white background behind me. So what can I do with that now? Well, I can put pretty much anything I want on it. And that's done by going to your video settings and choosing a virtual background. So here's, for example, just an example. It comes free from Zoom, so you can give yourself a background. But you can also choose your virtual background, but you can also upload your own virtual background. So what sort of virtual backgrounds should you use? Well, here, for example, is a picture saved from Toastmasters from a presentation that I made. So I just put the logo up in the top left-hand corner there, and I can obviously point to that, and it replaces that in the background. So you can see what you would use. So if I was at a Toastmasters event, I can brand myself. Then I've got my own branding, which you can also change, and you can see here that it's now more of a sort of darker background with my own logo on it. But wouldn't it be a good idea to maybe also then add something else into it? So for example, the QR code, which is here. So that allows people to scan the QR code. So if you wanted to have a go at that right now, I'll give you a moment, and you just grab your phone and you hold it up and you scan that QR code, and that will take you straight to my website. But you can set up a QR code to take you anywhere. So that's the sort of uses that you could use a virtual background for with a static background. You could also show where you are. I'm based in Queenstown in New Zealand, and you could put an image of that behind you in summer and maybe also in winter, just to give people a different feel as you're going through. Some people ask me what my setup is, and I did previously have a green screen, and here's an example of my setup, so I could explain to people how to use that. Then we can move on and maybe put some video in, and you could also add video in, and you can see here now that these are some of the scenes that we have around Queenstown. And it sort of just sets the scene if I happen to be talking to people about where I'm from and showing them what sort of activities go on around the region here. Currently not, because we're all in lockdown, but we're looking forward to these winter activities as well. If you do connect with people about your kids or your family, then isn't it great to put maybe a video of your kids up, and that gets people connected with, and you could talk to them about your family, etc., and whatever's going on with that. And then you can come on and start showing some of your work. So for example, here are some of the healthcare presentations that we've made over the years. We're a presentation company, and that's what we do. So we build presentations for companies. So it's a good idea to be able to show different show reels, different examples of stuff that and projects that you've worked on. So, you can stand in front of it, you can talk to it, you could move completely out of the way. You could become the weatherman and maybe start giving some discussions about what your project is or what you did in this particular project and how you helped this client. So those are another example of something that you could do. And I have different versions of those show reels. So this one, for example, is about hospitality projects that we've worked on, and you could talk through that. So I feel that's a much more engaging way to show clients your work, to have it appear right behind you and you present with it, than to share your screen, for example. But one of the most important things is using that camera, and I'm really trying to focus on it now. You got to look through the camera. You really, when you're talking to people, you got to stop looking down here, because if I break my eye contact and look down here, it can really kind of look like I'm not looking at you. Whereas if I focus on the camera and talk through the camera to the people at the other side, I really have to consider that the people at the other side are my audience, and that's who I really want to talk to. So that's a simple home setup using Zoom to create a more engaging and a virtual background and create more engagement. Next up, we're going to look at some different ways that you can create engagement. How do you create attendee engagement as you go through your presentations? Because interaction, if you think about it, is the difference between a monologue and a dialogue. And we don't want to stand and just monologue to people. We need to create that interaction. And we got to think about different ways that we can do that. So we're going to look at that in the next section. But thank you for coming along, and I look forward to keeping in touch. See ya.